One of the consequences of the American election last week, where Donald Trump won more votes in our electoral college, and Hillary Clinton won a few more votes, popular votes among the people, is evidence that America is deeply divided into two camps, two approaches to life, two factions, if you will, two territories even. For those of you who may have seen some of the maps, say on CNN or something like that, you will see that most of America is colored red for Republican or Trump votes, and there are two blue strips on either coast. There's an East Coast blue strip and a West Coast blue strip. But in those states of Massachusetts, New York, California, lots and lots of Americans live. So that we have roughly 62 million Americans who voted for Trump and supported what he stands for. And we have about 62, little more, million Americans who voted for Hillary Clinton and the Democrats and what they stand for or what they talk about. Oh, and by the way, we need to recall that those 124 million voters are only some 57% of the American people. So that means there's a lot of other Americans who, for reasons unknown, did not go to the polls, did not decide to express their feelings one way or the other. But when you have a country divided 50-50, my sense is, looking at history, not good. If it's 60-40, 70-30, the majority is pretty clear. The people in the minority have a sense that they need to give maybe some acknowledgement or some deference to the majority. Maybe there are oppressive circumstances, you don't know, but it's kind of clear where the majority is. In America today, that's been true for quite a while now, but we can really see it today, it's divided roughly 50-50. So that means neither side has any incentive, as far as I can tell, to give in to the other. Neither side has an incentive or an impetus to say, well, you're kind of right from your point of view. Maybe I should rethink my position. And neither side needs to feel that they ought to give up and show deference, because there's always another election coming. And maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, maybe in 4 years for the presidency, we'll rally our forces and we'll win. We'll whip the other guys. Divisiveness is not a good way to build community or to get things done, as we've seen in America over the last 8 years. In the American tradition, Abraham Lincoln gave a famous speech called "A House Divided," where he said, "A nation that's divided, half slave and half free, cannot stand. It must go all one or all the other." There's a text in the Judeo-Christian tradition that says, "A house divided cannot stand, and that he who sows division in his own house shall inherit the wind." What can be done? Well, I've been thinking that underlying the unhappiness among many of the Trump voters, and underlying the unhappiness on a lot of voters on the Democratic side, particularly those who supported Bernie Sanders. They wanted Bernie Sanders to be their nominee, not Hillary Clinton, is a common concern about the economy. The middle class has not been doing well. The lower middle class has really not been doing well. African Americans in general have not been doing well in the inner cities. Jobs have moved overseas. The real full-time working earnings for men has been stagnant since 1973. A lot of the trend lines on division of wealth, income, health, etc. Have not been good for 20, 30 years now in many cases. And people are worried and people are unhappy and they're losing confidence, and maybe they're looking for cheap solutions. One cheap solution is a great, tough-speaking leader who's going to solve your problems for you. Another solution might be government with a capital G. It somehow is going to give you more income, better education, job security, retirement, etc., etc. But whatever your solution is, it's going to need economic growth and wealth. And how are we going to get that? And I've been thinking that maybe these co-roundtable ideas about a moral capitalism could generate agreement and support from both sides. The moral capitalism equation is that you have private property, free markets, and individual initiative with responsibility. Because you have responsibility, you don't need so much of government to provide the economic solutions. From the point of view of people on the left who traditionally want big government, they could see the responsibility. They could see the moral, ethical part of this and feel that private decision makings by boards of directors, CEOs, big companies, small companies, banks, have some notion of the common good. They're providing both private goods to their customers and public goods in terms of opportunities for education, higher salaries, better housing, decent terms for mortgages, and things like that. So I'm beginning to think that maybe there's an opportunity for others, not just politicians, not just people in government, but people who are thinking about the common good, to step up, to step forward, to speak up about how do we balance the common good with the private good. I'd be interested in your thoughts on that.